What's up, my man? Welcome back. Out of the country for a week. How was Dominican Republic?
República de Dominicana. It was very good. Very, very busy trip for me. A lot of traveling, a lot of time spent in airports, but very happy to be back. I'm ready to talk about some soccer.
Tons of energy to talk about some soccer. Let's go. Oh, man. Well, welcome into the show. He's Torin. I'm Austin. We get together every week and drink beers and talk soccer. So I'm happy to do this actually on a Sunday because we're fresh off of watching EPL Matchweek 36. So we need to give our quick reactions. I won't forget what happened when we normally record on a Thursday. So we'll go through the EPL matches over the weekend, touch on a little Champions League that we missed last week, and preview this week's second leg, which is going to be exciting, and then finish with a little news outside of Champions League and Premier League. So without further ado, why don't you take us through the drinks over the weekend to get started?
All right. Yeah, so we're looking at the games from this weekend since we didn't actually talk last week about the previous week. Pick'em starting off. You've had a really solid week. I think there's still, 2 games left this week. But you're sitting with 120 points. I only have 90 points, and that is mostly to do with the fact that I forgot to put in every pick for Saturday.
I was about to say, man, 90 is pretty good for missing an entire
what
day.
What happened is I chose the Man City score exact, and I made it my double counter. So I got
nice.
80 points on one pick. But without that, I would be looking pretty sorry. But I'll take a drink for that loss.
As you drink, I almost did the exact same thing as you. So we went beach camping. So Friday night, I'm in a tent by the beach, and my kid, who's 2, this was his first camping experience, and we got him a little air mattress, but he was not having it. So we're like, all right, just get him up here, and he can sleep in with us in our air mattress. But he just doesn't know how to co-sleep with people. He's rolling around. I'm getting kicked in the face constantly. He can't get comfortable. Nobody slept. More of the story. And then finally, I'm in a daze. I don't know what time it is. And I'm like, oh shit, games start tomorrow. I'm like, fuck, I look at my phone, 2:30. It was 2:30. I had...
you remembered at night.
Yeah, it was... I was like, oh shit. I grabbed my phone, just not thinking clearly, just punched all my my picks in. Barely got it in. But yeah.
Well, it worked because you got a strong week. I also would assume then, moving over to fantasy, that you also got some last-minute lineup changes in then.
I said, no, I was too tired. I didn't care about fantasy as much. I was like, screw it. Fantasy's so stupid. Just whatever.
Well, by not changing, you still managed to get a tie for second place so far this week.
See? Stupid.
Yeah, you didn't need to do anything. And as always, of course, I didn't set my lineup, but my terrible team still finished second to last, so I'm very comfortably holding down last place in the league now. I don't think I have any route to safety. I'm going to get relegated out of this league, I think. So another drink for me. Prop bets, we both lost, so there's an extra drink for each of us.
Yep, take that.
And then last but not least, our red card check-in. We did have one over the weekend in the Leeds game near the very end. It was actually an injury time in the game, so 1 red for 1 drink.
Yeah, the rare yellow card followed by a straight red.
Straight red.
Which
so that'll probably
doesn't make any sense for me other than the suspension's going to be different now, I guess.
Yeah, that means he might be done for the season if it's a 3-game suspension. So We'll see. Could be a big impact. I feel like if you're a ref though in that situation, and if you're like, that should be a red, but you have the opportunity to just give a yellow, I feel like you would always do that. So I didn't actually see it, so I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I saw it.
That's pretty.
I feel like he should have just gone second yellow. Who cares? If I were the player,
Yeah.
I'd be like, come on, dude. Like, give me a break.
Straight red, dude.
I want to play next week. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whack.
Anyways, any other drinks?
That's it.
That's
That's
it?
it for the start of the show.
Okay. So, drinks ready. Drinks are over. Is the title race over?
Ooh.
That's the question. Man City, they whooped up on Everton as everyone knew they would. You locked yours in. I locked mine in, but I only did 2-0. So I missed it just by a goal. I just got to say, dude, did you see Gundogan's goal? Both of them, actually.
Dude.
But that first one?
That first one was crazy, dude. It was so good.
It was just such good control, and he was just like, oh, the ball. It was just a reaction, like, flick. He knew exactly where he was.
And he nailed it.
He
didn't. It wasn't like a little flimsy flick. Like,
no.
he, like, hit the ball hard into the corner.
He knew exactly what he was doing. It wasn't lucky at all. It was so good. Yeah, he's ridiculous. And then that penalty shot was pretty sick, too. That short little run up, penalty. Yeah, I call it penalty shot. The free kick,
yeah. That was really good shot. Really, like it was one of those. It was like he didn't hit it too hard, but it still wasn't. It wasn't soft, but he like took just enough off to get full control, and it was just unstoppable. Like right where it needs to be.
He
There's
almost
no saving that.
Decelerated on the run up. Which I think kind of threw the goalie off because it threw me off like he was faking almost. And like the second guy was going to shoot it, whoever that was. And then he just popped it right over the wall and it was in.
That perfect little like knuckle swerve hit, where it's like a side foot. It's like the corner of the laces almost, It's just everything about it was just class.
Dude, he's been on a heater lately. He's been playing really well.
Yeah.
All right, so they take care of business against Everton, and then if you have been on social media at all, you know the result of the next game. Arsenal hosted Brighton, and Brighton got out of there with a 3-0 shellacking.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
the memes are out. Arsenal fans are just crying everywhere. Mm-hmm. But I ask you, like, it's easy to shit on Arsenal, but nobody expected them to win. Did anyone really think they had a chance of winning the title?
That's the shit. No, I mean
after that Man City loss.
Yeah. I mean that's the shitty part is like it's such a good season for them, and they were so good so early, right? Early and middle of the season that you just start raising your expectations. And it was like if they could have like sucked for a little bit and then like went on this run at the end to like get back up into second, you'd be like, what a fantastic year. But because it happened this way, it's going to be looked at so negatively. It really sucks for them.
Totally. And I feel like if you would have asked an Arsenal fan at the beginning of the season, hey, you're going to be competing for a title, but you're going to finish second, they would be like, oh, sign me up.
Yeah,
but yet
100%.
But yet now it's all like doom and gloom. Like what a horrible collapse. It's like you weren't expected to be here.
Yeah, that's really No, it's. I mean, it's good to keep it perspective. I mean, there's no way to not be like upset about it, but it's like you got to be realistic. This team was not supposed to do what they did, so I would still be really happy, really impressed with the team. And Man City's they're just on another level, man. They're clearly the best team of the world talent wise, and when they put it together, nobody can compete with them. They're just
maybe Real Madrid,
just a different level.
But we'll get to that later.
We'll get into that. But even but seriously, like, which team would you rather have on paper? I think everybody would.
I would rather have City. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Whether or not you think they actually would win in the moment, but they're just a different level of team. So you got to be happy with how the season went if you're Arsenal. Mm-hmm. But yeah, getting back to your question, I think it is over now. So now we have Man City up 4 points with a game in hand still. So I realistically now it's definitely over. So I think all that Man City needs is like a tie next week, and then it's like mathematically done, I think. Yeah. So
which is huge for Man City because we talked about how many games they have outside of just the league. So now they're going to be able to kind of rest
Coast.
guys who need to rest in order to still win Champions League, win FA Cup. So it's big for them. It's big for them.
Yeah.
Okay. Champions League, Europa, next season. There's still slots open right now. So currently in the standings, at this point in time, still 2 games left for the week. So Liverpool will play. Top 4 is Man City, Arsenal, Newcastle, Man United. Newcastle and Man United both have 66 points. Then in the 5th and 6th spot for Europa, we have Liverpool and Brighton. Liverpool, we mentioned, game tomorrow. Brighton, also a game. And then another game in hand.
2 games in hand.
Right, so they have 4 left. They're the only team with 4 left. And they're at 58 points. And then right behind them in 7th and 8th is Tottenham and Aston Villa with 57. So Brighton kind of controls their own destiny here.
Dude.
And they've been playing so well. They had that huge win today against Arsenal.
Yeah.
And I don't know, can they hold it off? I will say, before you answer, their next matches, because it is a tough schedule, Newcastle away. Then they get Southampton at home. That's a W. But then they go Man City at home, Villa on the road.
Okay, and not just that, but because they have the 2 games in hand, these are makeup games. So they're going to play 4 games in like the span of like a week and a half. So that's going to be really tough. It's going to be a lot for them.
You got to expect they're going to beat that Southampton team.
Yeah.
But going to Newcastle is difficult. I don't care who you are. And then Man City, we already talked about them, hosting them. Maybe they'll be not as motivated as Brighton. I could see that happening. And then Villa's fighting for that Europa League spot. So that's a big game for them at the end of the season. So it's not going to be easy. But this Brighton team's playing so well.
So good, man. It's like they could drop out 2 players, put 2 guys in, and they don't skip a beat, man. They're so well oiled and tuned together. It's so much fun to watch. Like watching that game today, it was just like the most fun soccer. Like you get to see everyone on the teams just having so much fun playing and so excited. It's exactly how you want a team to play. Like coaches spend their whole lives trying to get a team to play like that, right? To feel that way, to have that atmosphere, and whatever De Zerbi's done, he's got it. He figured it out because they're playing like as good a team can possibly play.
Yeah, I mean they had that the last weekend they lost to Everton 5-1, which was super weird. I don't know what that was, but outside of that, they've been pretty stellar, and they bounced back right again and beat Arsenal.
Okay, because I guess I missed that game last week, so
I don't know what that was. I don't know if it was just like a lapse of maybe they were looking ahead to the Arsenal match or what. But sometimes that happens. But it's not because they're not playing well. Yeah, and I'm already bummed out because I know this team's not going to be together next year. Like they're going to pick guys off. I hope they can keep the 3M, but I don't put the odds on that they're gonna keep them all together.
I'm hopeful. I would be hopeful. I was a fan of their team. I think they'll sell 1 or 2 guys, right? But they've been so good at bringing in these replacements. Whoever their scouting leader is, whatever they do, every team should be trying to copy them because they find all of these gems from all over. That always seem to work out. I think somebody like Caicedo could be gone. Maybe a stupid
McAllister is being rumored everywhere.
Maybe McAllister. So I think 1 or 2 of those guys will be gone. But then you have a guy like Enciso show up, who's like super good. Wasn't even played till 2 months ago, and it's like, where are you finding these guys? You guys are killing it. So
if they can keep Matoma and McAllister, I think they'll be good. But it would just be such a bummer if they make Europa, which I think they should. I think they will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It would just suck if they had a lesser team than they do this year. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want them to go through. I know what you're talking about, right? You make it, and then it's like a totally different team
Yeah,
when you actually get to play it. Yeah.
it's a bummer. Um, so yeah, they're fighting for that sixth spot. Liverpool, who's been on fire, 5 wins in a row, uh, are pretty much locked into fifth, barring any huge setback that they have.
Hmm.
If they get a win tomorrow, is the game tomorrow? I think it is. If
Yeah,
they if
tomorrow
they
against Leicester.
if they win that against Leicester, which they should, that's going to push them to 65 points. They might even crack Champions League top four, but I think they're safe for Europe, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, but Leicester's fighting for their lives, so not the type of team I'd want to be playing at this time of the season, I feel like. And
Yeah,
then they got Aston Villa, who's fighting for Europa League. So they're a team that's just dead set fighting for relegation, a team fighting for Europe in back-to-back games, and then they finish up with then they have Southampton the last game of the season, so they'll probably be dead and buried by then. So, but yeah, these next two are going to tell the story for Liverpool.
so yeah, that Liverpool, or sorry, not Liverpool, that Aston Villa Tottenham match was huge yesterday. Villa hosted Tottenham and they ended up winning 2-1. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, did you miss this game?
I only got a chance to catch up on a few games, so yeah, I missed this one.
It was a good game. There were a lot of close, almost goals. Son was offsides about 17 times, and ended up not getting a goal. Harry Kane got one back at the end on a penalty, and Emiliano Martinez, I feel like, did a really good job. I don't. I didn't really agree with the penalty call, but whatever, it happened. It didn't cost him the
Hmm.
game. But I think what was the worst is I want to talk to Blake about this because Hugo Lloris was still out. They had Fraser Foster in goal, and Douglas Luiz had a free kick from, I don't know, 10 yards outside the box, maybe a little less than that.
Hmm.
And Foster was so slow to get there. Any other goalie would have saved it. He got a hand to it, but it was too weak and too late. He
Hmm.
just didn't get enough. And he scored a penalty kick that wasn't in the top corner. Or, God, I keep saying penalty kick. Free kick that wasn't in the top corner. And
Yeah,
it cost him at least a point. So,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's a position they got to work on. Obviously, I mean, Lloris is kind of on his way out now.
Yeah.
They got moves to make next season. I am be. This is definitely one of the teams I feel like I'd be most excited to watch what they do. Right? It's like what coach is coming in, what players are we going to move? This will be. Are we going full rebuild? Are we just going to try and retool a little bit? So definitely one of the teams to really watch as we get into the off season.
Absolutely. I think this is a really fun team to analyze what could happen because, like you said, it
Hmm.
could go a lot of different ways. Is Kane going to stick around? Is like one domino could fall and then 10 more could follow it. And all of a sudden,
Yeah.
this team could be nothing. Or they keep everybody, pull in a couple of more good players, get a quality coach. Like their roster is good. If they stick with it and pull in a couple more good pieces, this could easily be a top team. So
Yeah.
really interesting.
Yeah. It'll be a fun one to watch.
All right, so they're on the outside of Europa. Let's move to the relegation, which is kind of solidifying, but heating up at the same time. So right now, currently, we have Southampton in last place with 24 points. They're pretty much locked that they're going down. Sorry,
Yeah.
Southampton. Here's to you. Uh,
No, yeah,
Leicester.
actually, they are confirmed down. Yeah, because they only have 2 games left and they're down 6 points. So
There you go.
yeah,
Yeah, drink for you, Southampton. It's been fun. Good
R.I.P.
try.
Yep.
Leicester is in 19th with 30 points. Leeds 18th with 31 points. Now, we mentioned Leicester plays tomorrow against Liverpool, so they can improve on that. Outside the drop zone is Everton at 32, Nottingham Forest at 34. They had a really great 2 weeks. They won last week against Southampton, and they got a point this week against Chelsea. So that was huge.
Really big point. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you Did you get a chance to catch the Nottingham Forest Southampton match from last week?
No, I missed all the games last week.
So I watched it, like, the full match.
Okay.
And the crowd was insane. It was at Nottingham Forest. The crowd was electric. And the atmosphere was unbelievable. You could tell they were two bottom teams, though. Like, the effort was so hard. And everyone was going 100%. But there was just that little bit of quality, like, when you needed it. That just kind of
like a loose touch.
Yeah. It was a little bit like watching a U.S. men's national team match, where like they're playing so hard and the crowd is there, but they're just a little bit. They're just missing a small bit of something that the top teams have. But it was a really entertaining match. They ended up on top, which was huge. It got the 3 points, and then this Chelsea one. Chelsea didn't play that bad, but just kind of sums up Chelsea this year.
I know. They literally, it basically was like they had two bad plays where they got like beat in the air, they didn't clear the ball, and they tie a game. It's like you said, the epitome of Chelsea's season. Even when they are playing pretty well, something goes wrong, right? And then the other half of the time they're just playing like shit.
Yeah.
So it's just like it was actually pretty funny.
I wonder what the locker room is like for Chelsea. Like what's it like? What's a training session like for them?
Yeah, I know.
I feel like they just have too many guys.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you look at the team, right, and it's these guys that are all like, they all feel like they're superstars, right? Yet they're on a team that's in 11th place in their league. It's just the juxtaposition of like the lineup, the bench that you see there, right? And like you said, the training session that's going on, and then the team in action. It's just the comedy just writes itself. It's just like,
dude, it's crazy.
How does this happen?
I know. So last week they played Bournemouth, and they won. They won on the road, but João Felix scored like a nice finish. I don't know if you remember. It was a good finish. It wasn't like goal of the year, but it was a nice solid finish. And he runs over, turns around to the fans, and starts like pointing to his name on the back of his shirt, like, yeah, I'm João Felix, that's right. And it's like, dude, you guys have been shit ever since you got here. Congratulations on your goal. Like, why are you calling yourself out? Like, I hate that shit. Like, no sense of team. He just wants to prove, like, yeah, I'm the fucking man. And I bet there's a lot of guys on the team that kind of feel like that because they've been playing so shitty.
I bet they all would have done the same celebration, right? It's like, that's their team.
It's so bad.
I will never get that, man. Like, I don't know. Like, I would just be so proud to wear the badge. Like, I would always be pointing at that, kissing that. I wouldn't be pointing at my name. So I just don't get that vibe. Like, what's the point of that? It's like, people know who you are, dude.
Yeah, I know.
You don't need to show people your name.
There's just, it's difficult. I'm trying. I am with you. I would never, ever do that. But I feel like we are very team-oriented players. And some of those guys have made a career literally off of being selfish players. Like scoring a goal, making sure they get noticed, they get recognized. How many strikers are going to lay a pass off to the side or take it themselves, even if they think they have like a 25% chance of scoring? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yep.
So it's always difficult, especially when you get these big expensive clubs where they just get mercenaries for hire to be like, hey, play as a team. It's tough.
Yeah. Well, this is the ultimate mercenary team then.
Exactly. And it's not working.
It's just so much money.
Yeah. Okay, so that was Chelsea Nottingham Forest. Leeds Newcastle. Did you catch this one? Okay. So Leeds goes out in front right off the bat.
Oh, it's your boy.
Like 5 minutes in, I think. Which boy?
Ailing.
Oh,
Your
I know,
favorite.
Ailing. Yeah, he tapped it in. He tapped it in. It was
Okay.
he was coming around. He was yeah. It wasn't that great of a goal, but it was important. And but then they got a penalty kick like 5 minutes later, a chance to go up 2-0 in like the first 15 minutes, and
Oh,
Bamford kicked the worst penalty without missing the target that I've ever seen. Like it was like a foot left of center and like right at exactly where the goalie's hands were. It was just such a soft penalty, man. It sucked. And then minutes later, Newcastle came down and they scored on a penalty.
on a
So
penalty.
it went from 2-0, potentially 2-0 to 1-1 like that. And then it was game on. But they fought hard. They ended up equalizing 2-2 because I think if I remember right, Newcastle went up 2-1, and then
Yeah,
they
with
tied
a
it up
second
later.
penalty.
Yeah,
Two penalties Newcastle had. Yeah.
yeah. So the fact that they got 1 point, huge, but they're still in the relegation zone, and they have West Ham away, and then they host Tottenham last match of the season. So it's not looking great for Leeds.
Oof.
I want them to get a
Oof.
win against West Ham so badly.
Yeah, West Ham needs it too, though, right? So
They,
West Ham's going to be fighting.
yeah, they're not going to roll over. What are they in?
They're in 15th.
15th. Okay.
Yeah,
They're safe. They're
they
safe.
should be safe. Yeah.
They're safe. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be as desperate as Leeds is. That's for
hmm
sure. Um, yeah, I think Nottingham Forest is probably safe as well, but they probably don't feel safe. You know what I mean? Like they're going to play like they have been. Um,
Yeah.
anything else from the relegation you want to go over? Who do you think's going to finish
Uh,
in the bottom? Do you think it's going to stay this three, or do you think someone else is going to drop down there?
what's the rest of Leicester? So Leicester's got Liverpool and then Newcastle. Oof. And then West Ham. Oof. Not looking good for Leicester. Uh,
It's not looking good for Leicester or Leeds,
I know. That seems to be the most likely is that it stays the way it is. Though Leicester has the game in hand.
right?
So I think like you said, I think Nottingham is safe. It's going to be those four that are fighting it out. Obviously, Southampton's already done.
And
I can
Everton,
easily
Everton
see.
has Wolves and Bournemouth, so they can get a point out of one of those.
Yeah, yeah. So I think most likely is it stays the way it is. But Everton's got to be scared right now.
Yeah, I just Leeds. They can do it. Like they can do it. I think they can beat West Ham.
hmm
So I'm going to say Everton falls, and Leeds is going to do it. I'm going to will it to victory.
Yeah.
That fan
Everton
base.
has that streak though. What is it? Like Everton's like I forget what it was, but like they haven't fallen out of the top flight in like however many decades or something. Like it's some crazy streak, I think. So it'd be like you're going to get it's like all history and everything is on Everton's side, I feel like. So they're gonna have their it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for Leeds.
Yeah, the Leeds United crowd has won me over from the beginning of the
Oh yeah.
year. I I was unaware at the atmosphere at that stadium, and man, it's really awesome. I hope that they can stay up so we can see them for one more year.
I know, man. I need them to stay up.
I know, I know. All right, Champions League. Let's segue. Now, I know you caught these highlights, right?
I did, yeah.
Okay, good. Now, leg one, we had Real Madrid hosting Man City, finished 1-1. What were your thoughts from the match?
Uh my thoughts were Kevin De Bruyne.
He's so
Kevin De
fucking good.
Bruyne.
He's so good.
Kevin De Bruyne. He's so good.
KDB. He's
There's a
so
reason
good.
there's a reason they rested him against Everton 100% to get him ready for leg 2 coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Um I mean it was a good game. I mean, obviously 1-1 draw. I guess what you would kind of expect out of these two teams, right? like we said, Man City on paper, right, is the best team, but we know Real Madrid, the way they play as a team structurally, they're just such a solid team, and they just always create threatening chances. Like even when it feels like they shouldn't, they just find a way to do it. Like they're just one of those teams. It's like you don't want to play these guys. So if there's any team, like we talked about, right, any team that can stand up to Man City, it's going to be Real. So it's still all there to play for. If Man City has an off night, Real's going to take it. I mean, it's neck and neck. But Kevin De Bruyne just made a statement game. I feel like he was just showing he's the best player in the world.
That goal he had was sauce, dude. They fucking just ripped
So good.
that. Oh my god, he's so good. He's so efficient with
Such a
everything
good
that he
hit.
does, and man, that goal was so sick.
So dope.
Yeah, I was just checking the stats. I was surprised that the possession actually ended up 56-44, but that first half, it felt like it was 70-30 Man City. But they were never really able to break down that Real Madrid defense and get some good chances. They had a few like half chances, but they were never really able to give them too many problems. But then whenever Real Madrid got the ball, they looked real dangerous.
Yeah.
So I would like to see in the second leg, I would like to see both Grealish and Bernardo Silva, who started, not play. I would rather see Mahrez and Foden on the outside because I feel like Bernardo Silva is good on the ball, but he doesn't like break people down. He doesn't blow by people. He's not fast. And Grealish, I don't know. He does his little hop step inside and sometimes gets a cross away. Mostly goes
Yeah.
down and looks and like baits people in for a foul. Like I kind of want to see those other guys because I feel like they could pose more problems to breaking through
Yeah.
the defense.
I do think Silva is a good link player. Like
Oh,
I would
for sure.
I would be down with Grealish sitting and Foden coming in. I mean Morris is so good though. So
Mahrez
it's
is
like
really good. Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's
Silva,
just embarrassment of riches.
I feel like Silva does better if he's more centralized and not outside.
Yeah. He's a good like layoff distributor, like on the turn, like bring De Bruyne and Gundogan in, like those, like he could set those guys up really well. It's interesting. I'm looking at the game right now. I didn't realize this. They did 0 substitutions in that game, so it's just the starting lineup all the way through for Man City.
Oh wow, I didn't notice that.
I don't
Yeah,
know if
you're
I've
right.
ever seen that in a Champions League game. So
That's crazy. I didn't realize that
yeah,
either.
0 substitutions.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, like he was like, "This is my best team," and they're staying out there. No, we're not pulling the starters.
All right, that's nice. Okay, so they're playing Wednesday. It's 1-1 going into the second leg to
Yep.
Manchester. Predictions: who you got?
Oh, um, damn. It's one of those where it's like, I think Man City should win. If De Bruyne plays like he did in the first leg, I think they have a really good chance to win. There's just something in the back of my mind that's like, I feel like there could be a letdown here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Real Madrid is scary in the Champions League.
I
Man.
know they're so scary. Like their counterattack, like those guys, Vinicius, Rodrigo, Benzema. It's just like they need one chance, just one opportunity, and they're gonna score. It's so scary. So, I mean, I'm gonna give the edge to Man City, obviously, but I think it's gonna be all to play for.
So I think it's going to be Man City. I think they're going to win 2-1. That's what that would be
Okay.
if I was a gambling man. That's what I would go with. But
Mm-hmm.
call me crazy on this. I know I've been riding the Chouameni train since the World Cup, but I feel like he's better than Cruz is right now. I feel like
Oh
Tony
yeah,
Cruz is a statue out there, and as
he's
great as
getting
he
dribbled
is,
around.
as great as he is, I feel like Chouameni would help the team more.
I feel like you can't have Modric and Cruz out there both. Like you have two. Like Modric is still great, but he's not as fast as he used to be, you know? And it's like, and then you have Cruz, who was never fast and is now even slower.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't like, I would be, you need energy in the central there to chase, especially against Man City, where they're going to try to dominate possession and get you running around in circles.
Yeah.
You got to have fresh young legs. So I think he is the right type of person to have in there. Obviously, they have Valverde in there, who's great. And has those legs, but you need two of those guys if you're going to be playing Modric. So I agree. I think that would be the smart play.
Yeah. I'm trying to see when they subbed him out, but I can't pull it up quickly. But yeah, those are the changes I'd like to see made. But either way, I cannot wait.
They didn't take him out to the 84th minute.
84th, you got it? Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have brought him on way sooner.
Yeah, bring him in like the 60-something. Yeah.
But Tchouaméni and Modric at some point in time will retire. And then they're going to have Camavinga and Tchouaméni in the midfield. They're just set up for success, man. And then they'll probably bring in some other star somewhere else. So, pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the derby on the other side of the bracket.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Inter, AC Milan, the showdown of showdowns. I will say, though, it was devastating that Leao couldn't make it. He was injured, and you could visibly see that AC Milan was not the same AC Milan as from the previous round.
Yeah.
And Inter 100%. Won convincingly. I feel like AC Milan did a good job second half. But 2-0 victory for Inter. If Leao doesn't play tomorrow, because I haven't seen if he's going to play or not, do you think AC Milan stands a chance?
I don't think so. No, not without him. I feel like they tried everything they had. Like I feel like they threw the whole playbook out there. Obviously, with the absence of Leao, and it just wasn't enough. I mean, Inter looked like the real sort of tactical Italian team in this game. When I think going in, we felt like it might be more like Milan that was going to look like that, with just like solid defense and then counterattack. And they seem too organized. They seem too hard to break down. It's going to be really tough, especially when they know they have a 2-0 lead going into this one. They're going to be playing very hard to get through. So without Leao, without somebody that can actually crack a can open, on his own, they're going to struggle.
Giroud was isolated up there, man. He did not have a lot of help. And Inter came out flying in that first 25, 30 minutes. They were just coming at them, and they were getting through every time. They had the goal that wasn't a goal. I think it would have been the third goal, hit off the post. That was the sickest goal of the three, and it didn't go in. It would have been the sickest goal. But they were just they were on another level, and AC Milan just was hanging on for dear life.
Two goals in the first 10 minutes. So it was just, obviously from there on out, you call it a success for Milan to get just absolutely bombarded like that to start, right? And then
they're still in it. They're still in it.
Yeah,
they're still playing at home
to come together, and now they'll be the home team, right?
I wonder how that works. Do they allot
they're gonna be the away
certain
team
tickets
in their own stadium?
How does that work? Is it still a
What's
free?
That?
Is it did they allot a certain amount of tickets for each fan base? How does that work? Or is it just a free-for-all?
No, I think it's like when you're the home team, there's probably an away section, and then when you're the home fans, you're not, and when you're not the home team, you're in the away section, and so on.
Did they do season tickets the way we do?
I wonder. I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know that. But
they must. I mean, I don't know. I feel like
there'd have to be so. Yeah. Why wouldn't they? Yeah, but like you said, AC Milan is still in the game. Is it an uphill battle? No doubt. But they're still alive. I hope Leao can play, and I hope he's healthy enough to play, because I feel like it would be a much better fight. One thing I want you to watch that I noticed.
Okay.
Barella. Great player. I don't want you to think that I think he sucks. He's a good player. He's probably the worst teammate to have. I want you to watch. I want you to watch next game.
How upset he gets with his teammates.
He gets so upset that they don't pass him the
Yeah.
ball, and he's the worst. When he has it, he'll shoot from anywhere, and
Yeah.
and it doesn't care. And then he'll complain about a pass that wasn't passed to him, and it's like, dude, you weren't even in the play. You weren't even open. Why are you bitching at Dzeko, who was like a foot in front of the goal? Just look for it. Just look for it, because he bitches to his teammates about passing to him. And it's like, dude, you weren't open. Like, fuck off. Let me shoot my shot. Like, get out of here. Like, it was unbelievable. He threw a couple of temper tantrums where I was like, bro, you just settled down.
He took lessons from Ronaldo, I think. He I don't know. I mean, but you have to keep this in mind. He's so Italian. Like, he's as Italian as it gets. So, because I know this because I'm the same way. He looks very emotive and very, like, he's like freaking out and his hands are waving in the air. But that isn't abnormal, right? That's probably his normal amount of frustration, not like an extraordinary amount of frustration. So
I love this Italian body language, like translation.
Just keep that in mind, okay?
Oh man, yeah. Just emotional outbursts are not quite the same for Italians.
I mean, I've had multiple conversations about this before, because if I'm like excited about something, or like, I don't know, like I'm not actually angry or mad about something, but naturally I just, like, my voice raises and it's like I'm yelling, but I'm not actually like mad, right? I'm just like, I don't know, expressing how I feel.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, why are you yelling? I was like, I don't know. This is how I communicate.
Because why aren't you yelling?
Okay,
so maybe I just missed my Italian-ness is just turned down a little bit. All right, well, help me watch for it next time. Keep an eye out for it.
Yeah. Well, next time we'll bring in the Italian body language translator while we're watching the game.
Yes,
and we'll get a breakdown play by play.
That's what we need. You on the sidelines be like, let's go to our Italian body language translator.
Yeah, he's mad. Yeah, he's very mad.
How mad is he? If he were an American, on a scale of 1 to 10, how angry would he be? Yeah. That's what we need. Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, so they're playing on Tuesday. And then, like I said, the Man City Real Madrid on Wednesday. Can't wait for that. Block your calendars. Make sure you don't have any meetings, because those are going to be fun. Okay. We have a few bits of news from the weekend. I want you to talk about Leao, because we were just talking about this. So give me your news on Leao.
So, I mean, it's just, probably fresh off the rumor mill, but the latest news is that he actually has officially stated that he wants to stay at Milan. Obviously, there's been lots of rumors this year about him potentially making a move to big money clubs. Teams like Chelsea have been named, I think Liverpool or Arsenal. Oh, almost sneezed. But according to his agent, there's a new contract in the works that's, I guess, 95% complete for him to stay at Milan. So obviously probably a big weekly wage that he'll be getting. But obviously huge news, A, for Milan, B, for Serie A. It feels like all they do is develop players for them to leave, and then to finally really develop a player and have him potentially stay during his prime, or at least part of his prime, is obviously really, really big news. It sucks he can't be playing right now, because if he had, big games in the semifinal here, the story could be changing as we talk about it, right? With the big teams wanting to come in and buy him. So it's kind of fallen to the back burner a little bit, but obviously I think it's pretty awesome. I mean, we talked about, is Serie A sort of on the comeback?
I feel like there's an Italian league renaissance right now.
It's kind of a resurgence going on.
Well, think
So
about
really,
it. You had
really cool to
Napoli
hear
win the
players say
league
that.
in like
Yeah,
an amazing fashion.
yeah,
You had AC Milan and Inter making it to the semis, which is huge. And then if they can, as you say, keep their quote unquote best player, one of their best players,
yeah.
that may encourage some other people to be like, hey, I want to play for that team. They're going to be a
Exactly.
force, you know?
He was. I mean, he was the. I believe he was the MVP last season of Serie A. Like he was. He is the reigning best player in the league, and he's not leaving.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this isn't 100% confirmed, but
And then you still have
90.
Juve. You still have Juve out there, you know?
Yeah,
Which we don't
exactly.
have
Yeah.
it in our news, but Pogba got hurt again.
Fuck, I didn't hear
Yeah,
about that.
really bummer because he just got
Badly.
back. He just got back. I feel like
Do we know what it is?
I don't know what it is or the
Okay.
severity of it, but I know he had to leave. It didn't look good. His body language. He's not Italian, so I can understand his body language. It was
French
it was
body
like,
language.
fuck, I'm hurt again. So
He was in tears. Oh boy.
yeah, so not good. Really a bummer because he's a world class player when he's healthy, and he's just been so injury prone the last few
Yeah.
years. It's really sad. So hopefully he can make a recovery. He's still young, you know,
Mm-hmm.
young enough to recover at least. Hopefully he just comes back when he's fully healthy. But yeah, that was a bummer. But Juve, even without him, is still a good team, you know. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, things are looking up for Serie A more than they have probably in the last, I would say, 5 years. It feels like so.
yeah,
As a league, I think it's really awesome when Italian soccer's good because it's kind of, I don't know, it's a little bit different from the other leagues. I feel like, and obviously there's a lot of awesome fans there, a lot of passion in the games. So when those games really matter and mean something, it's really cool.
yeah. I like the. I would say they have a little bit more depth than the Spanish league, and
Yeah.
I like the style of play better than the Spanish league. The German league, I also like better than the Spanish league, but I feel like they don't have quite the same depth.
Yeah, the drop off in Spanish than Spain and in Germany, I feel like is much more severe.
Yeah, yeah,
And France is obviously the biggest, I feel like, but then those two, and then
yeah.
and then
France
Italy,
is like
and then
two, sometimes
England.
three clubs, you know,
Yeah,
which Spain is kind of like that too. Sometimes Atletico and Sevilla and Villarreal are up there, but yeah, for the most part, yeah, not that much.
yeah,
All right, the last bit of news we have is Chelsea are. It says it's set in stone, but I haven't seen news that it's like an official agreement yet. But it looks like Pochettino is going to be the coach for Chelsea next season. When he's coming in, I'm not sure, but
yeah.
I think he's a good coach. I think he's done good work wherever he's been,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll be so interesting to see what that team's going to look like next season and which players are going to stay and which players are going to go. And I wonder, he's got to be the one making the decision, right? It's like, hey, you brought me in. Now I need to assess like which guys I want, you know, and then what I assume that you're going to loan people out.
Yeah.
But
I think this is the classic, he wasn't going to take a job unless he had the reins type of thing, right? And he knows he had all the leverage here. He's like, you want me? Give me everything I want. And they're like, sure, here's the keys, So I feel like it'll definitely be that type of setup. Obviously, like you said, probably loaning out a bunch of guys to figure things out,
Chelsea
especially come the January transfer window.
Yeah, Chelsea is the perfect club for a coach to come into. Be like, wait, I have 20 players to choose from. Okay, let me just pick and choose which ones I want to keep, and then we'll trim the fat excess, send those guys away, and I'll play with the guys that I want. Like, they have so much talent there. It's just a matter of like having an idea of what you want to run and then pick the players that fit it. I feel like dream job.
Yeah. So I think in general a good coach to pick up, a coach that has been through like actual building of clubs before, right? Like with Tottenham, right? Like not a coach that just comes in when you already have the star power, but somebody that's willing to actually spend the time to build a squad and develop a team. So I think a good pick for like not a 1 or 2 year sprint, but like a 4 or 5 year build towards really making a strong club.
The only thing with Chelsea is that they've never had a coach for that long.
True.
But you know you're going to get paid while you're there, and probably when you're after you're fired.
True. So speaking of Chelsea, the other big rumor floating around is that they want to bring back Lukaku as probably they'll probably go splash on another striker as well in the next transfer window, but probably as another sort of bit of insurance or to make competition, bring back Lukaku. What are your thoughts?
How many times have Chelsea as a club changed their mind on Lukaku? Come on, dude. The poor guy. Just let him go. Let him be free. Like, he's gone back and forth so many times. It's like hard to watch. I feel like, and I'm nervous because Lukaku is not quite the same player that he was. I think that's fair to say. And if you're not firing in all cylinders at Chelsea, it's just going to happen again. And he's going to be like cast away again on loan somewhere, play well. I feel like he should just stay in the Italian league.
Yeah, no, I agree from his perspective. But at the same time, I'm like, well, why does Havertz get treated differently? Like, they just they start him at forward every fucking game. He doesn't deliver.
He didn't start
but
this.
It's like,
he didn't start this weekend.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying the season as a whole, right?
Yeah.
You know, like how many times was he just the default striker up top? And it's like,
I think that was a Potter problem.
Yeah, but I don't see anybody like talking about it. Like nobody's like, this guy sucks. It's always just like, oh, like he's good. He's just not working. It's like I feel like some players.
I'm the only one that says he sucks.
He doesn't.
I say he sucks.
Yeah.
Maybe you think he sucks. Maybe we just don't know.
I think he's out of position. Like I think he's a good player. I don't think he should play striker.
He must be an amazing practice player.
Yeah.
He must be so good in training. The coaches are just like, wow, we got to get this guy on the field.
And then he's like, he left me no choice. I have to start him every game.
I will say when he first got there, remember they got, who did they get? They got Ziyech, Havertz, and was it Werner at the same time?
Yeah, Werner.
They got all three of them in the same window, and I was like, I had never really seen Havertz. I'd seen him like a couple games, probably 2 total, and I was like, yeah, he looks the part, man. He looks the part. You see him make runs and stuff. He's tall. He's pretty athletic. You're like, man, he's got a lot of potential. But then I feel like he just never got better from that point. He just never got better, and I've soured on him tremendously. I think he's a fine player, but much like Werner, who got cast back to the German league, I feel like that's what needs to happen to Havertz.
I know. Yeah, I expect big changes there. So, yeah, we already mentioned Tottenham as like one of the teams to watch. I think Chelsea. I think those will be the 2 most sort of interesting teams to watch in the offseason as we get into next season.
I'm going to keep a close eye on
Brighton
too.
Yeah,
definitely. All right, that's all the news we have for today. You have some trivia for me, correct? Because I don't have any for you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Fine. Yeah, I have some trivia for you. So this is going to be stats focused on the Premier League season. So I'll just hit you with a few different categories and get you to try to figure out probably the top 5 of these categories. So the first one I have up is for goalkeepers. So this is save percentage.
Oh, great.
So the qualifying minimum is they had to have played at least 5
I'm already
appearances.
drinking.
So it can't it can't be, the backup that played 1 or 2 games in the season, right? And saved the one shot they faced. So in general, I'll tell you the percentages. So that the leading percentage is 75.9%. So basically 3 out of 4 shots that are faced are saved, right? And then, one out of 4 scored. Can you guess who is leading the league in save percentage?
Pope. Newcastle.
He is number 3 on the list.
Okay, respectable guess.
Yeah.
Okay, well, drink.
And he's at, so 75.9 is leading. Pope's at 74.1, so he's only a 1.5%, 2% off.
How about Emiliano Martinez?
He's not in the top 5.
Okay. He had a good game. That's why I thought of him. Does Keylor Navas qualify? I'm not going to pick him, but I just want to know if he qualifies.
He's not he would qualify. He's had more than 5 appearances, but he's not in the top 5.
Okay. He's been playing great, but they still let in some goals that he can't do anything about. He had a horrible mishap, but what about De Gea?
Not in the top 5.
Oh, I thought for sure he'd make top 5. Okay.
So the guy
I'm going to go Ederson.
Is... Nope.
No? Allison. Give me one of the Brazilians. None? They must not get enough shots. Wow.
This team is in the top half. And he's played probably most all the game. Maybe he missed a few, but
I can't believe neither of the Brazilian goalies. That's crazy. Who's the Brentford goalie?
They're both Spanish goalies.
Yeah,
that's my next hint.
That Brentford goalie. What's his name? He's Spanish.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Raya. That's him.
Raya. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's in first. Second place, though. We'll stop with second place. So you got first and third. Another Spanish goalie. This team is in the bottom half.
A Spanish goalie in the bottom half? I didn't know there were so many Spanish goalies. I have no idea. Hit me with it.
Kepa.
All right, fair enough.
I thought you were going to be in shock. Okay.
I should have gotten that. He got benched today. He didn't play. They played Mendy.
I know. And then Mendy messed up right away.
I saw the news thing on Pochettino. And they were like, "Oh yeah, he's looking to sign whatever." Like the article continued. It was one of his first items is finding a new goalkeeper. It's like, ouch. Fucking sucks. Mendy used to be a baller, man. I liked him.
I know, he was so good. I don't know what happened, man. It's like all confidence, I feel like.
Goalkeeping is such a weird, they go through highs and lows sometimes. I feel like sometimes it's not always their fault. Sometimes it is.
No,
but
like half the time it isn't. So.
Yeah, I feel like it's
just
tough.
Speaking of goalies, I just wanted to shout out. I watched the Wolves Man U highlights, and Wolves played a goalie. It was his first Premier League appearance ever, and he started. And he had some crazy save. They lost 2-0, but they would have lost like 6-0 without that goalie.
Yeah,
it was crazy. He had some crazy saves.
There's so many goalies out there. It's so hard to be like there's
this guy that's never played a game in the Premier League comes in and saves everything. It's like it just feels like there's like 200 of these guys out there, you know?
Yeah, and then Leno. I feel like Leno is a top goalie.
He's in the top 5.
There we go. All right.
I think he's 4th or 5th. Yeah.
But if you were to rank goalies, he would never come up as top 10 sought after goalie. You know what I mean? Like there's so many good goalies out there.
Yeah. Okay, next question. Yellow cards.
I
Two
immediately.
players are tied for first. I'm wondering if you can figure out either of them. Both of them are midfielders. Pretty obvious, I think.
Is it Din Donker?
Nah, he hasn't played enough.
Yeah, he was always the go-to in years past. Um, I was gonna guess
One of these
Romero, but you
guys
said
is,
midfielder, so
yeah, yeah, they're both midfielders. One of them is one of the best midfielders of the season, I would say.
Ward
Doesn't mean
Prowse.
offensive. No.
Um, Man, I'm not even close
Probably the
on this
best
one.
defensive midfielder of the season.
Best defensive midfielder of the season? Tyler Adams, man. Drink.
I wish.
I'm drinking on that one. I don't know. Who is it?
Polinia is one of the two.
Okay.
And he is tied with Jolington on Newcastle.
What? That's embarrassing for Joe Ellington. It's like, come on, dude. You rarely played defense.
Okay, penalties saved.
Oh, I like this one.
Yeah, 3 players are tied for the lead with 2 penalties saved on the season.
I'm going to stick with my boy Nick Pope. He got one today.
He's one of the 3.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
Nice.
Who else? Who
He's
else?
tied with Jose Sa and Dean Henderson, who I don't know what happened with him. Like, obviously they got Kaylor Navas, but he's like not even on the team anymore, I think.
Yeah, I was about to say, who the fuck's Dean Henderson?
He was Nottingham's goalie.
He was pre-Kaylor Navas?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'll do one more here. Let's find a fun category. Most woodwork hit. It's a 4-way tie for first.
The Rafinha trophy.
The Rafinha Award, yeah, from last season. Four-way tie for first.
How many?
All strikers,
How many did they hit?
5 each.
5. Okay. 4 strikers hit the post 5 times.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Haaland, just because he's had so many opportunities.
Yep, he's one of the 4.
I'm gonna go with. Tony's second in goal, but no, I don't think it's him. I'm gonna go with. Harry Kane. No?
No. Son.
Son. Oh, okay. Son got it. All right.
And then it's Darwin Nunez and Ollie Watkins.
Nunez, dude. That should have been my first guess. Let me ask you about Nunez. We've seen him now for a full season in the Premier League. It's safe to say he hasn't lived up to expectation. How good of a player do you think he is? Do you think this is who he is? Do you think he's better than this? Like, where do you think he goes from here?
I don't know. I feel like I'm one of those that I tend to give players a longer period of benefit of the doubt, right? Where it's I feel like in the modern age, it's you get a month, and if you don't perform, you suck, and that's your sentence for life now that you suck. I don't think he's bad. I think he's very young. I think
he's pressing.
We kind of
too.
talked about it. He presses a lot. Yeah, he's pressing a lot. I think he has the natural talent and skill. I just don't know if it's going to work with Liverpool, though. Right? It's is this a little bit too big for you, or not that the team is too big, but that the pressure and weight of what you're being asked to do for that team is too big, right? If they had another striker, he can play off that striker and absorb some of the pressure that the other striker could absorb some of the pressure. I feel maybe he would thrive a little bit more. So I don't know. I would give him more leash, if it was my team, but
Yeah,
That's not the way things work.
I definitely don't think he should be buried or sent away. I think he's shown. I feel like he's capable. He's just one. He's pressing too much because of the things you just said.
Mm-hmm.
And two, I feel like I don't want to say his confidence is gone, but it's clearly not at where it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, for a team like Liverpool, he's getting so many chances. You know what I mean?
He is. So I just looked up another stat. I just realized they have. So they have a stat, big chances missed.
Oh,
As
gosh.
an official stat for the Premier League. He is number 2 on the season with 20 missed big chances.
Yeah, that hurts.
Who do you think is beating him? So the leader has 26.
I would love to know what a big
missed.
chance is.
I know. I don't know what this is, but it's an official stat on the Premier League website.
I would love to be the guy who does the big chance stats. To be like, yep, that's a big chance. Nah, it's not a big chance. That's just a half chance. I want to be that guy.
You're like 3.5 beers deep, like, yeah, it was pretty big.
You're like, that was a huge chance. Oh my god. Put 2 down for that one. Put 2 down.
We need a new category.
That was a Raheem Sterling chance that he missed right there. My brain goes to Havertz. But I don't think he got as many chances as Nunez got.
He has 13 big chances missed.
Yeah.
Tied for 8th.
Enough to know that he's shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Big chances
missed. I think this will surprise you.
Well, it could be someone like Haaland, where like you had so many chances that you missed, but he also scored a million.
It is Haaland.
It is Haaland? Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I was gonna guess Kane, but yeah, same reasoning.
See, that's what's funny, right? So you go down this list, right? So it's like Nunez is like, okay, like you haven't performed this year, 20 big chances missed. Then all the other players around him, Haaland performed this year. Rashford performed this year. Watkins performed this year. Salah performed this year, right? Those are the top 5.
Yeah.
And then Nunez is the lone outlier where it's like he actually didn't, and he just missed every chance he had, basically.
Yeah, but it goes back to the thing, like, what's a big chance, you know? Like,
True. Yeah, and like, is it the same guy? Is this like one of those like subjective ones, right? Where it's like, oh, we have this scorekeeper tonight. He has a different definition of a big chance than this guy, you know? Like,
so I feel like statistics in soccer, like analytics in soccer, need to be improved. I feel like there's more to it than fantasy is a different animal altogether. But I feel like there needs to be players that get recognized for like chances created, or even just like keeping possession in difficult moments, you know, is a huge thing. Eden Hazard, when he was on Chelsea, when he got the ball, it didn't always equate to a shot or a goal, but it was almost impossible to take the ball off him. It was unbelievable, his dribbling skills and his strength on the ball. He would almost always create an opportunity for his team.
Yeah, he would dribble like 2 or 3 guys, you know? So it's like, by even just dribbling one guy, you immediately create a chance, right? Because suddenly you're pulling a defender from somebody else. The second you get past one guy. If you get past 2 guys...
Yeah. If you break down the defense and lay it off to someone who then should cross it or play it to somebody else and get like the hockey assist, like how is there not a hockey assist in soccer? You know?
Uh-huh.
So yeah.
Where is this?
What are you looking for?
I was looking at, I have big chances created.
Right what I was about to say. What is who leads
2 players tied for first?
Kevin De Bruyne. Duh. I'm surprised someone's tied with him. I'm surprised there's not a huge gap between him and somebody else.
I know, I'm surprised that. I mean, this guy's not a bad player, but I'm just surprised he's on the same level as De Bruyne.
I'm gonna go with McAllister.
Bruno Fernandes.
Oh, that makes sense. The thing I like about Bruno Fernandes is whether whether it's the right play or not, he's always taking a chance on a pass.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so many there's so many midfielders that are just reluctant to take the chance and just play it sideways. But Bruno Fernandes will attempt a long pass, a through ball, and I really like that about his game.
I think it speaks to his vision, like a lot like De Bruyne. Like that's one of the best things about De Bruyne, right? Is his vision.
Yeah, he's a poor man's De Bruyne.
Yeah, good way to put it.
Yeah.
All right, well that's it for trivia. I did have one question I wanted to ask you though, before we get into prop bets and end the show. I saw this little quiz pop up on some feed I was on, I think on YouTube, and it was a question that says, "Who do you think was better in their prime?"
Ooh, I love these.
Mesut Ozil or Wesley Sneijder?
Sneijder.
That's what I said.
It's not close, in my opinion.
Okay, the results of the quiz, 72% said Ozil.
Was this a English? Was this like an Arsenal feed or what?
No, this is on YouTube. It's like just like a soccer channel. It's
72?
Doesn't have a bias of like one. It's not like
hard disagree.
Real Madrid, United or something. It was just like a random question. 72% said Ozil was better in his prime than was Sneijder.
I can't disagree more with that. And
I know.
I don't want to put down Ozil by picking Sneijder, because I think Ozil's great. But
Sneijder was a one-man wrecking
Sneijder
crew.
was really, really fucking good. Those Inter teams that he was on, he was the catalyst. That Dutch team finished second in the World Cup. They should have won it. That dude was a stud, and he was at a level that Ozil dreamed he could get to. Ozil was fantastic at passing, vision, playing people into space. Like, he was fantastic at that. But I think Sneijder had more of a complete game.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I think there was so much more weight, I think, on Schneider's shoulders, and he like lived up to it. Like, whether or not you think one of them had more skill than the other or something, I think he was a bigger player in more stressful situations that actually showed he was a real player.
Big moments,
like,
yeah.
In big moments, like he had it right, and I don't know. I don't know how you could see that question and click Ozil, but 72% of the 4,500 out of 4,500 votes, 72% said Ozil.
I would love to know the demographic of those voters, because I bet you most of them missed Schneider's peak, because Ozil, they weren't at the top of their game at the same time. Ozil was later. He was more recent. What's going on? Is that your garbage disposal? What's that? That's a technical difficulty if I've ever heard one. That's a drink for all you people out there. And Torin just left the building, so who knows what's going on. Hopefully everything's okay with him. But yeah, Wesley Sneijder was a better player than Mesut Ozil. I think Mesut Ozil would admit that. Right now I'm potting solo as Torin is figuring out what's going on. What happened? Oh, did your AirPods die? We got a new headset.
Right.
Torin's back with a new headset.
We're back.
What happened?
My AirPods died on me. I couldn't hear anything.
Okay.
I tried to switch on the computer speakers, and
that's what that sound was.
They were all jacked up.
I was going to say, that's a technical difficulty I've ever heard one. So yeah, we don't edit. We do one take.
You get the full experience
it's all
with us.
live. Yeah, for better or worse.
It's like you're in the room with us.
We don't do any editing. We record one take. Fuck it, we'll do it live every week, every time.
Yep.
All right. But yeah, Wesley Sneijder was better. End of story.
Yep. Agreed 100%.
I like that though. Or do you have any more of those? We got to do more of those.
I really liked it, but that's the only one I had. They're really good questions, but to find ones that are like evenly matched takes a little bit of time and effort, right? So we should think about maybe coming up with a couple of those for each other
That is a
for a
good one.
segment
Yeah.
sometime. Yeah.
It gets tricky with like different generations, but I feel like they were close enough to where that was a pretty good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. No, I liked it. Yeah.
Like when we did that Zidane, Kevin De Bruyne stat one, it's like it's so hard to compare them. Like Kevin De Bruyne has
Yeah.
more goals and assists than Zidane had, but it's like the game is different.
man.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to.
Zidane played when you were still getting like hacked, like
There were fewer goals.
fewer goals, much rougher defense. Yeah, it's really hard to compare the generations.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
All right.
So you all good on your trivia, your news? You got your headphones all set,
Yeah.
and now we're closing down shop. So
That's it.
we'll touch base after Champions League.
Yeah, let's aim to do a post Wednesday night one if we can. Then we can look forward to the Premier League as well for the weekend and see what our Champions League final
Yes,
match will be.
Oh, I can't wait. What are you rooting for? What do you want to see?
Man City. I want to see Man City. I mean, I would love to see AC Milan come back, but I don't see it happening. But
Yeah,
I think it'll be Man City Inter.
Yeah, I would rather see AC Milan, Man City, but
Yeah,
I think it's going to be Inter, Man City.
yeah,
Which is cool too. I actually think Inter is a stronger team at the moment than AC Milan is. So
I think they'll be tougher for Man City. I think they're a little bit better structurally to like try and put up with what Man City's going to throw at them. So
yeah, they don't have the depth. Well, nobody has the depth that Man City has. But
yeah,
I think starting lineup, they're closer than you would think.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. And then the bench is like where you're like, oh shit, they're bringing these guys in off the bench.
Yeah, Man City's got a whole nother starting lineup that they can throw in there that's just as good as Inter's. Yeah, that's the difference. That's the difference. So yeah, can't wait for that. All right, we'll touch base then. But yeah,
All right,
good shit.
sounds good.
All right, there.